Mira and HarlequinAudio present The Seaside Library by Brenda Novak. Performed by Amy Mcfadden. To Kathy Albritton Bennett, a reader and friend who has done so much to support me and others. Not only has Kathy traveled to meet me in person, but she's very active in the book group I started several years ago on Facebook, attends the monthly meetings, posts to uplift and befriend other members of the group, subscribes to the Brenda Novak book boxes, which we put so much hard work into, and fulfills the annual Brenda Novak Reading Challenge each year. And she doesn't stop there. She goes above and beyond by offering, completely her idea, fun giveaways to the many other readers in the group. Kathy, thank you for making everyone's day just a little brighter. 1. Mariner's Island seemed like an empty movie set, cheerful and pristine, but merely a facade, until the season hit. Then it was as if a director had screamed, "Action!" and a flood of tourists rushed in with the tide. After a long, dreary winter, Ivy Hawthorne couldn't wait for the warm days of summer. She loved the sun and the sand and the happy vacationers who flocked to the island's expensive summer houses, pristine beaches, and exclusive shops and restaurants. The influx made for a nice change of pace, especially this year, when fog and bad weather had cut off the island from the mainland more often than usual, curtailing the activity of the supply boats and planes that would otherwise have come in and out on a more regular basis. After such a hard winter, summer was literally a breath of fresh air. But this year, it promised even more than the usual excitement. Ivy was looking forward to seeing Ariana Prince, a lifelong friend who'd grown up with her on Mariners. Ariana lived in New York City these days, and although there were plenty of direct flights, only an hour long, she'd stopped visiting the island regularly a decade ago, about the time she'd graduated from Yale. She didn't stay in touch very often anymore either. Until a few weeks ago, she'd worked as an editor for one of the bigger publishers in the city and insisted she couldn't get away. But Ivy ran the only library on the island. She understood how the book industry worked. August was slow because it fell between the big sales periods, so it was the month most editors took vacation. Ariana could have come back for a few days or a week every August, if she'd wanted to. At least she was coming now, and not only for a week. She'd be on Mariners all summer. Ivy hoped it would seem like old times, but she couldn't avoid a certain amount of trepidation. Ariana had quit her job, but she'd been elusive as to the reason, what she planned to do next, and if she'd be going back to New York when the summer was over. Why? And why was she returning this summer when she'd missed so many others? Given the recent headlines, Ivy had a sinking feeling she knew what was drawing her friend. But she was loath to even think of the decision they'd made so many years ago. What was done was done. She didn't want to second-guess herself. She and Ariana had acted according to what they felt was right at the time. Shoving the memory she'd suppressed for 2 decades back into the farthest recesses of her brain, she tried to shake off the attendant anxiety. Hopefully, they wouldn't even have to talk about the past. But when her phone went off as she glanced at the clock hanging on the wall over the popular fiction section, because she was expecting Ariana to walk in any second, it seemed rather portentous that it was the only other person who'd been involved in what had happened their junior year. "Hello?" "There you are." Cam Stafford sounded as casual as he always did, but the timing of his call made the anxiety she'd been fighting worse. "What's up?" she asked. "Melanie said she ran into Ariana's grandmother at Anchors Away when she went to pick up my lunch. Did you know that Ariana's coming to the island?" Ivy froze. Melanie was Cam's wife of 4 years. He was the only one
Sample complete. Ready to continue?